The reason your life is out of control is that you have failed to give control of your life to God. That's about the sum total of it, right there. It's about the sum total of it, right there. Are you wrestling in your life? Are you struggling in your life? I think the answer for all of us there is yes. Just in different areas. Look, I want you to get that, right? In this room, there are no perfect people. And anyone who thinks otherwise is deluding themselves, right? There is no perfect pastor. I've said it many times. I will reiterate it for you again. I will let you down. I will let you down. I will not do what you want me to do. I will not do what you expect me to do. I will not do what you think I ought to do. I will not do what I actually ought to do at times. I will let you down. It's a promise. You take that to the bank. It's only a matter of time. I've already let some of you down. That's the reality. I am not perfect by any means, and nor are you. And so every one of us wrestles, every one of us struggles somewhere. Every one of us has a battle somewhere in our lives, just in different places. We wrestle with different things at different times for different reasons. But we're all wrestling. We're all struggling. We all feel it. We all feel the reality of it. If you feel that reality, if you feel that tug, if you feel that wrestle, you're in good company. Welcome. Good to have you here. There are no perfect people. We all wrestle in different areas. But the reason that we all wrestle is that whatever the area of our wrestling is, we have refused to allow Jesus to be Lord in that area of our lives. We continue to, Brian will know this, we've talked about this before, the preacher Leonard Ravenhill wrote a book many, many years ago called Why Revival Tarries. And in the book Why Revival Tarries, he gives the example of so much Christian preaching sounds like, you're in a car and you're driving your car and you're in control of the car, but you've got to get out and let Jesus drive. Jesus has got to take control of the car so that he can steer you where you're going. He says, but that's just not right. That's just not the way it is. What he says is that you can't get out of the driver's seat, let Jesus take up the steering wheel, get in the passenger seat. No. Because at every point, somewhere along that journey, you're going to want to try and reach over and wrest the steering wheel out of his hands. You can't do this. Where are you taking me? Are you sure you know where you're going? I'm getting Google Maps. That's just what we are, right? I think I know better than you. Right? So you can't just step out of the driver's seat, let Jesus into the driver's seat, let him take the steering wheel and sit in the passenger seat, because you're going to want to take control of that car at some point. Right? Instead, you've got to walk around the back of the car, open the trunk, and throw yourself in, and say, "Let me know when we get where you're going." It's just like, climb in, all right, I'm ready. And that's what it's got to be. That's what it's got to be. That's what it's got to be. We all have these areas of our lives that we just refuse to relinquish because we think we know better. And we want control of that area of our lives, and we refuse to let Jesus be Lord in that area of our lives. Whatever it is. And the reality is we just got to get on our knees and say, thy will be done. Do with me as you will. And that, who knows where that might end? Who knows where that might end? Who knows what he wants to do with you? I don't. I don't know what, and it doesn't promise success, and it doesn't promise a good life, and it doesn't promise acceptance with people or a great job or a great family. It doesn't promise anything of that nature. It promises you an eternal relationship with the living God and a place within the family of Christ. That's what it promises. And it promises that whatever the cost in this life will be, and it may cost you your actual life. You may have to die for it. But whatever it is, it'll be worth it. It'll be worth it. So how do we relinquish these areas of our lives to the Lord? Well, the first is, it's always the same answer, through the gospel. Through the gospel. What is it that we're afraid of letting go? What is it? What is the area of our lives that causes us to just have a death grip on this thing? And I don't mean a death grip on the thing that you're strangling it to death. Your grip on it is strangling you to death. You're the one who's dying, not it. Not it. You've got a death grip on something, and it's killing you, and you've got to let it go. What is it? What is that area for you? You're going to have to think about it. I can't answer that question for you. You're going to have to explore it. You're going to have to pray, and you're going to have to ask God to reveal it to you. You're going to have to ask the Lord to open up your heart and do some heart surgery on you to understand exactly what it is that you are hanging on to and why. And it always comes down to control. It's all about control. But why that area? Why that thing? And you've got to see that Jesus died for that thing. Jesus died for you in that area of your life. If it's acceptance with people and you'll do anything to be accepted by people, Jesus died for your acceptance with God. Jesus died for your acceptance. Yeah. Jesus died for your acceptance. If that's the thing that you're holding on to, you've got to see the crucified Christ, the one who died on the cross as a substitute for you, that your acceptance has already won and is already assured. I don't know what it is that you're wrestling with in your life. I don't know what it is that has got a grip on your heart. I don't know what your death grip is on. But it is an idol that you've raised somewhere. And the answer to that idol is Christ. It's the crucified Lord who promises to bring life through his resurrection. That's what it is. Maybe you're a drug addict, and you just spent decades or whatever it is taking drugs. Why do you take drugs? What's that for? Why do you do that? Well, because it covers the pain of life. Well, what's the pain that you're trying to cover? What is it that you're trying to hide up? What is it you're trying to cover up? What is it you're using your addiction as a means to cover? What is that thing? Jesus died for that thing. Jesus died for that so that you could be set free of it. And you'll never be free of it until you see the crucified Christ sacrificed on your behalf to set you free from that which ails you and holds you captive. Jesus says, I am the door. And that's what he's talking about here. That's what Paul's talking about here, really. It's the same idea. You enter into the life of Christ through the death of Christ. And there's a big, broad path that leads in all kinds of different directions, but there's only one door. And you've got to enter into that door, and it's the crucified Christ as the door. And entering into that door means that you get crucified with him. And that's why so few choose it. The great news is that God has chosen those who will enter in through that door. And if you are one of the chosen who are hearing this gospel message to you today and you feel it stirring in your heart, then walk through the door. Step through the door. And the truth is that you've got to get on your knees and say, do with me as you will. Do with me as you will. I don't know what that looks like. I don't know what that means, but we've all got to pray it. Do with me as you will. It's only by entering in through that narrow door, through the doorway that is the crucified Christ, that we can enter into the resurrected life of Christ and the newness of life, being set free from that which holds us captive, the law and sin. Speeding being one of those. Pride in his motorcycle. Les ducks his head. Oh, hello. Yeah, desire for a motorcycle, Brian. We've all got to find it. We've all got to find what those idols are in our lives, those areas that we refuse to let go, those things upon which we have a death grip, those things that are killing us, and we've got to come before the Lord and say, sacrifice this to your cross. I lay it before the cross of Christ. I see that Jesus died for this so that I don't need to have control, and he actually knows better. I know that that's ironic to think that, and it's difficult to believe that someone knows better than you. But he does. He knows better than you. He knows better than me. He knows what is actually good for our lives, and so we've got to trust him with it and go, I'm getting in the trunk. Let me know when we get there. It's going to be painful and it's going to mean suffering. But if we want to bear fruit for God, that's the path. If we want to reach the culture, which is just entrenched with religion and obeying laws, we're going to reach people for that, we've got to present them something else. If we're going to see a revival in the church in this country, we've got to preach something other than law and obedience. Or self-help at the other end of the spectrum, isn't it? It's just as useless. That's just law as well, isn't it? At the end of the day, if you just do these things, then you'll, if you just think positive thoughts, it's just law, it's just religion. The gospel is something entirely. It is a crucified Christ. It is God who entered into human history and allowed himself to be crucified on our behalf, so that whatever area of our lives we hold on to for dear life, we can look to him and see it sacrificed, crucified with him. And we can see whatever it is that we're pursuing, I used acceptance as an example, it's actually found at the cross of Christ. It guarantees the very thing that we're looking for. It guarantees the very thing that we are looking for if we would only let go of what we think is best for us and embrace what God has given us in Christ.